Guys, Wages World here. It is the 30th of May 2020, and I know I made a little short video this morning when I seen that CME happening again, but now we have some data to look at because they went back and put some of the data there. So I'm going to give you a little update. Plus, I'll probably be live streaming or at least premiering a video on this later on tonight, probably around 9 or 10, maybe 10:30. I haven't really decided yet. Hopefully that all works out. I've been trying to get set up to do live streams, but just to let you guys know, that's what's going on. But we had a very, very big CME, okay? And it did not come from the place that everybody thought it was going to. It came from the other sunspot, or active area. It came from down here. I showed you guys that earlier this morning. Some of that data wasn't even there yet. And guys, I have to be honest with you and tell you that I think at this point, they know when this stuff's getting ready to happen. I don't know how they know. I don't know when they know, or even if they know enough to be able to do anything about anything. But the fact of the matter is, the past 3 or 4 CMEs, the bigger ones we've been seeing, they've been shutting these tools off right before this happens. I'm talking like 15 minutes before. It's completely blatant. It's not even like a question of whether or not they're doing it on purpose. Okay? They are doing it. You know, I don't know what else to say about that. But they do put the data back in there, but is it the right data? Is something else going on here, or were they just making sure it was something they wanted us to go ahead and see? Are they doctoring it in any way? Those are always questions, especially when we see big things happening like this, when, honestly, guys, we shouldn't be seeing activity like this right now. We just shouldn't. You know, I've been talking about an uptick, how the uptick seems to be happening faster. We're still in a solar minimum, guys. It's not a grand solar minimum, but it is still a solar minimum. We're on the bottom end right there. Yes, we're going into the, you know, into a more active time, but we're not there yet. So for us to have activity like this, it's just not the way that I thought it was going to happen, or most people didn't think it was going to happen this way. You know, we've been talking about observing these things, you know, things happening very, very quickly. And all those flares coming from that top spot, even a couple from this bottom one, and then, you know, we're going to watch this thing blow here in just a second. It's going to happen about right here. I'll kind of be quiet and we'll look at it here. Okay. You're going to see a little bright, and then you're going to see it's not going to look that bad. Okay, that was it right there. Do you guys see that? Okay. Now I know it didn't look that bad, but it was. Okay. Now this is why I think they might be doctoring this, because if I remember right, when I first looked at this morning, it looked a lot more violent than that. It just did. So we're going to check out some other things real quick. Okay, guys, this is the 304. All right, the one I just showed you was 171. Now this is why it's so hard to catch these things. Now even the big ones. Okay, now what? Oops. Watch in this area. Just look really, really intensely. You're going to see like a dark. See that right there? That was it. That's all you got to see. And that's why we look at different angstroms, because, you know, we get to see different things. But just look in that little area right there. Let's even make it a little bit more smaller so you guys can see that even better. It's going to be dark, and you're going to see it lift off the surface. Okay? It's going to be in here. See that? That's all it was. That's all we got to see on here anyway. Now, you know, other angstroms, we're seeing other stuff, obviously. But I wanted to show you guys that, because sometimes people are wondering, how can we not see a CME or a large flare? Well, that's why. Because everything blends into the background. Now, when they happen off the side, like I've talked before, the background is the blackness of space. So when they happen like right in front of us, where it's most dangerous for us because it's coming right at us, we can't see it as well. Unless we go look at the side view from stereo A. So, you know, that's what's going on with that. Now, let me show you this on seeds. Well, before I get to seeds here real quick, I'm going to show you the CME tracker. Now again, guys, you guys know that sometimes it don't even update for certain CMEs or solar flares. This one did. This is a large one, guys. Now, I know the big question was, is it going to come at us? Well, let me tell you, it looks like we might catch a glancing blow from this thing. If the data holds up. Now, if this thing is off just a little bit, it could come closer to us. We could take a more direct hit. Or it could actually go the other direction and might not get hit at all. So that's why we have to wait. And that's why we got, we got time when we're talking about a CME. This thing fired off on, we're going to call it the 29th, I think. Late in the day on the 29th, I think, is when it happened. Early on the 30th. Now, they're not, when it gets here, it is about the 4th, okay? Like the 3rd or 4th. So, and that is pretty fast mover, okay? That's a fast mover for a CME. You can see here the top-down view, how we do take a glancing blow. You can look on the sideways view, like we're looking at the side of the Earth here. We take a glancing blow according to that one. And then here is the stretched out one that really tells us what's going to happen. And it most certainly looks like that we were going to catch a little bit of that. Okay? Now, we could catch more or less, like I just said, depending on if the direction is correct on this. So, we just got to wait and see. So, now let me show it to you on seeds, because it's going to blow your mind. Okay, guys, I got you at seeds. Now, I want to say something here real quick, okay? Now, when we look at this, obviously it's going to look like it's going that way. But what you're also going to see is you're going to see this tool completely circle out like that. Now, if that was coming right at us, we would call that probably a full halo CME. And we have not seen one of those in a very long time. Okay? And a full halo CME is exactly what it sounds like. Alright? It's a big circle. Okay? Now, when you see this tool pick this up, after the initial, it sees the front of it, and then you're going to see like a really distorted flash. Okay? What that is that's the initial light coming off of that CME. I'm not sure if it was a flare or not. I don't think it was. It could have been. Not really sure. I didn't see it flare. I seen it, but all that light flooded this camera. Alright? And you're going to see what happens. And it's a good way to show you guys why this occulter is even here. If this occulter wasn't there, everything that we see on here would look exactly like what you're getting ready to see. Okay? So I'm going to push play. Alright, now, again, you're going to see it start on the left side. Okay, now I paused it because it was real fast. Alright? So, obviously, you can see that the tool is actually picking up a full circle there. It thinks that there's CME happening that big. That's how, distorted that got. Now, we can look up in here, too, and I'm sure that there's something up in there. I'm not going to dig into that right now. But the fact of the matter is this is even happening is enough for right now, I think. So I'm going to push start here. And I'm just going to toggle it through. Okay. You know what? Let me back it up. Okay. So we start with that. Well, it started before that, obviously. It really started on the late in the day on the 29th, guys. Okay. Real early on the 30th. Now, if you remember my video from this morning, we were missing 8 hours of data from 0-100 to like 8:30. Now, sometimes on these tools, the first 6 hours, they'll use that time to do updates and stuff sometimes on their software. So sometimes that is legit reason to have it down. But for this to, be down for 8.5 hours, number one, and then come right back up after something like this happens with the CME already off the screen. Come on, man. Not a coincidence. Sorry. Just like yesterday when they shut it off on that M-class flare 15 minutes before it happened. That's not a coincidence either. So, anyway, I'm going to toggle through here. We're going to see this. Okay? Obviously, we already know that that's going to be decent size. That's a CME straight off the bat. Okay? So, when we get here, and another boom. Okay? That's the initial light coming off of that CME. If that black occulter wasn't there, that's all you would ever see. I get a lot of questions about that. That's why I'm addressing it. So, but yeah, you can see that, right? Actually, you can even see stuff over here. So stuff's going on, guys. I mean, I showed you guys Comet Swan on HI1 yesterday. I've been talking to you guys about, you know, the alignment of Venus and Earth, and now Mercury's in that. Because this thing right here, it fired right at Mercury. I mean, right at it. So, you know, and that happens quite often. Mercury gets hit quite often because it is close to the sun. It ain't because of anything else. That's a natural thing that happens. But I do think that the alignment of Earth and Venus is helping to instigate some of this stuff. Plus our objects out there, you know, moving around. The comets are there. All this other stuff that's going on, guys. It all just plays into it, you know. And you know it's a good strong CME when that red and blue line there on the side just stays the whole time. It never disappears. Now, sometimes we'll get CMEs that just kind of flashes on and off with that because the tool doesn't know whether or not it's a CME or not. So yeah, so you can see that. Now, again, this right here is the image that we got to see this morning. That's all we had. All that stuff before that, we didn't have. They put that data back in there. Why did they do that? You know, you got to ask yourself that. Okay? I mean, you have to. So, there's no reason for them to do that unless they're trying to at least preview what we're able to see. And with that being said, if they took the tool down right before this happened, they had to have some kind of an inclination of what was getting ready to happen. You know what I mean? They had to know at some level that they thought this might happen. Why? Why did they think that? I'd sure like to know. You know, but we're never going to know. So guys, I am going to go ahead and end it here because, you know, there's so much going on here. I'm planning on coming back. I'm going to spend some time with my family tonight, and I'll come back once they go to bed tonight, and we'll try to get a live stream or at least a premiere in tonight. Let me take you and show you one more thing. Okay, I wanted to show you space weather, the updates here over at NOAA on the Space Weather Prediction Center. Obviously, you know, the flare warnings or watches or whatever, storm level, whatever you want to call it there, is not there anymore. It's back to normal. But what we're going to look at now is what we were talking about. So if we look here, that's the solar X-ray flux, right? It went back to like a baseline. You see that? It's not flaring right now. Nothing's flaring. Okay, but look at the geomagnetic activity. Okay, so we went from in the basement for 3 days in a row. Okay, we were like almost at 0 or 1 for 3 days in a row. Almost 4. They were putting out, you know, cosmic ray alerts because of it. Now the geomagnetic activity, that's this right here. Remember the double wave CME I was showing you guys? That's because it's hitting us right now. Okay, and I'll show it to you guys over on the magnetopause tools later on tonight. But that's what's going on. Okay, that's why our geomagnetic activity went up. And, you know, I know it's hard to understand why, you know, the flare stuff went down, but yet that's going up and vice versa. The reason is because they are two different things, guys. We're talking about X-rays and then we're talking about geomagnetic activity. Two different things. And you can see right here, guys, that, you know, stuff's happening. I'm not going to go too much into this right now. But I do look for this Aurora thing here. Watch this. I bet this thing is, well, it's probably ain't going to let me do anything right here. But, you know, maybe it is. Okay, maybe it will load. Things have been kind of slow today. You know, guys, with the SpaceX launch and all that, that was pretty impressive. And they were talking about scrubbing that mission and postponing it again because of this solar storm that we're under right now. They almost did. So, they didn't, and everything went off pretty good from what I can see. All the reports and stuff I've seen and watching it go on up and all that, everything looked like it did okay. Now, these are some pretty good auroras here, guys. I can tell you that right now just by looking at this. It looks like might be a good show. Anybody that's an aurora photographer is probably all about that, you know. So, you know, guys, there are things going on. We can't let our guards down. You know, we see this right here. That's on the magnometers. So, everything's moving right now. And I'm telling you right now, this is not something that anybody expected. Okay? This is something that, you know, we knew we were going to go into a more active area, a more active time. But, you know, none of us, I don't think, thought it was going to be like this. This is pretty intense, because we're going to go through and we're going to count them later on. How many CMEs and solar flares we've had in the past week or so. And it's gonna drop your jaw. I guarantee it. I can tell you right now, it's over like 12 or 13 in a week. When we were only seeing like one every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? How do you go from that to this? It's kind of crazy. But the Enlil model is actually showing that too. You see this, how it's predicting out here, where it's going to see an uptick right there. That's about when that's supposed to be hitting us. See, it's right there on the 3rd. So that's what that's showing you. And this right here is confirming that that's that other CME that's already hit us. It's probably on its way out. But the big one there did go right at stereo A, which is why all of this is increased. And so is stereo B. Isn't that interesting? Stereo B is on the other side, guys. So that means that stuff's flying out that way too. Just saying. Okay? It's not just one-sided. But anyway, guys, I will come back later on tonight, guys. God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.